Thrilling and exciting forms of physical play that involve uncertainty and risk of physical injury may sound like something to avoid, but engagement in risky play in the childhood promotes physical activity, contributes to well being, and protects against anxiety, faulty decision making, and or excessive risk taking later in life. My stance on risky play is that it is essential for the early childhood educational setting because it has many benefits across a child's health. It encourages children to participate in activities that reduce the chances of them becoming part of a sedentary society and moving in ways that may not be familiar to them. So it challenges them to do, you know, assess if it's worth them trying to do or not. Mentally, it helps them develop an approach to learning that shows curiosity and willingness to try something new. And that's from Cognitive Development, CETL 1.1. It also, their executive function by regulating impulses and behaviors, and then logical reasoning and skills by reasoning and planning and solving problems to reach goals, and that's CD 3.2. And I missed getting which CETL the executive function came from. Children's emotional experience and risky play range from pure exhilaration through exhilaration from fear at the same time, allowing children to test their abilities and develop the necessary skills to cope with real life challenges is one of the social emotional benefits of risky play. Although it has a potential to become reckless in its natural state, I believe it can be resourceful. It can be more resourceful than hazardous to children's development. There should definitely be limitations that establish safe boundaries for exploration. The task of balancing risky and safe play in preschool, it's not easy. Educators and parents, of course, want to avoid injuries. However, the decrease in children's opportunity to be involved in risk taking play has greater negative consequences. My personal thoughts about risky play align with Lev Vygotsky's views. In his theory about the zone of proximal development, it focuses more on the mental aspect, but I feel that this can apply to risky play in the physical dynamic. My textbook for my math and science class mentions scaffolding coming from more mature learners, and this reminded me of our morning routine. Our school plays a song each morning after the first bell, and some of my students, initially avoided, so I give them an opportunity to do a twirl and a dip because conscious discipline program says that it's important to make a physical connection with your students several times a day, each day. And so I'm pretty intentional about making sure I get each child as they come in the morning. And so twirling and dipping seems like something so simple on the outside looking in, but you know how my children assess, the risk determines on if that's considered risky to them or not. And so I didn't, initially I didn't think, oh, a twirl and a dip. I didn't think, oh, that's not risky. But you can tell through some of my students in interactions that it was a risk. So many of them avoided it. And I can tell that, as they witnessed other students participating in it, that it became more willing. They became more willing to try it. And I could feel the uncomfortableness of the risk as I'm twirling them. They're holding tight to my hand as I'm dipping them. They're clenching my arm, or not willing to put their head back. Their bodies are stiff. And then another thought I had is about children riding tricycles in our program, and so I didn't want to take the risk away and the thrilling experience for the fast riders. So I enacted a rule to stop before you crash. So this allowed my fast riders to get their thrill and the more reserved riders to stay in their comfort zone until they were ready to increase their risk.